love letter to the blade. It's been 8 months since I first held you in my hand. 8 months of learning the way your curvature moves through space, how your cold edge slices through the air, how your weighted sheath moves my body as I move you. We dance. This metal becomes a part of me, my awareness extended through your deadly tip. When I chose to love you, I chose a relationship with my deepest self. For knowing the anatomy of the sword and the way of the blade is a study that will span many of my lifetimes. And like a petal falling from a lotus flower into the flowing river, traveling where it is intended to go. I fumbled my way into learning you, being taught by you. You helped me cut through my fears, slay my inner demons, and pierce a portal into the veil of my insecurities, showing me the way I'm supposed to, maybe, follow. And the petals kept falling into flowing rivers, leading me to more love than I could imagine. When I first felt your cold, hard metal, the pain from the bruises I endured as my rookie limbs learnt new forms were soothed by the warm, soft caresses of new lovers. Before the blade, I was in hate with love. Oh, how I'd been burnt by the words of exes, their poison tongue like a weapon laced with earth's deadliest venom. But through the portal you pierced, I found love in abundance. Familiarity as I encountered lovers from past lifetimes, from dreams, from memories. And through our shared awareness of the chi, the way, we weaved a web of love together. My love rides the ocean waves like a fleet of ships from my land to my lovers. Each ship a different relation, connection, story. The ocean is not monogamous and neither is my heart. The masts raised high and proud. Each ship has its own course, journey, history and destination, but all are empowered to ride the sea by the same wind, same water, ceaseless in its capacity to do what it's intended to do. My fleet of ships are not on their way to invade or colonize, no. My love is not about conquering. The land of your lover is not yours to take or to own. It is shared freely and offered, and when boundaries are set up, you must retreat and respect, as these are surely just other ways we can love each other better. I can never fall out of love again, as my inner compass is a blade that guides my boat across stormy oceans. Forever ours, Bones.
Dear me, I think I love you. No, I don't think it, I know it. It only took 29 years, 167 days, and 13 hours to get there. And I want to tell you some things that I kept locked up inside of me during that time. I want to explain myself. I want to give you closure. I know people say closure isn't real and only you can give it to yourself, so here I go. I'm sorry that I didn't believe you when you told me you were hurting, that I pushed down your emotions and pain into the deepest recesses of my mind so that you could keep a smile on your face. A fake one, but one that could pass under everyone's radar so no one could ask the million-dollar question. Are you okay? The golden ticket that would have released you from your pain earlier. And what were we passing for? What was more important than letting you feel and acknowledging those feelings and caring for you? Nothing. Back then, I thought pretending to be okay was the answer. I want to admit that I was wrong. I want to promise you that I'll never ignore your true feelings again. The good ones, the bad ones, the confused ones, they're all valid and they're all so purely you. I almost lost you once and I refuse to ever do it again. To let you slip through my fingers like oil. leaving only a residue for me to remember who you were, to be on the brink of destroying myself because you were gone. I'm sorry I let you leave, and I'm happy you're back. I'm happy you want to be here with me again, inhabit the same body, breathe the same air, feel the same sun. I'm happy you forgave me before I forgave me, and came back before I could give you the right apology. I'm happy you're here. And what can mean more than loving you for just existing, for getting out of bed every morning, for taking every step, for brushing your teeth, for trying. I'm not sure why it's been so long and why I haven't said it yet, but thank you. Thank you for coming back and not giving up. Because when you do give up, I know it will be because of me. Because I forgot to give you the time and love and pleasure you deserve. That I allowed you to give in to darkness. And instead of reaching down to pull you back up, I coaxed you into the abyss holding your hands. I know this is long overdue. I know you've been waiting for these sweet words for years. So yes, I love you. I am here for you. I would die for you. But remember, I will not die because of you. And I know that's all the commitment you ever needed. I promise that next time I'm staying grounded, so that if you have to leave, I'll still be here to welcome you back into this working vessel. I know it's never a choice when you go, but I can choose to stay. And I will. I promise I'll keep manning the ship as long as you promise you'll always come back and be the captain. With 29 years of love and beyond, Mary.
Dear Yolanda, I wanted to write to you, for although now there is mostly bitterness left between us, there was something beautiful in the beginning, and I want this letter to be my refusal to forget that beauty. That night we were in the living room with the sunken couch and chairs chewed by Otter and Bijou, the new puppies that added to the general chaos of dogs and lovers at the circus house. Bijou was mine. We got her from Harpy and Rose, who refused to neuter their dog for some reason that I never understood, but now, later, wonder if it was perhaps the plain cost that was prohibitive. In any case, Bijou came later. Either way, that night I'm thinking of it was evening, and I don't remember exactly what movie we were watching. I think a Sam Peckinpah, which I would never have been sitting down for, except that it was to be next to you, and I was drawn inexorably towards you. That was the night that at some point your hand grazed my wrist, and I felt desire like a hot vein, like a rush, a high. It was undeniable and surprising and impossible to say no. I wanted you. I couldn't help myself. I just needed to get closer and feel that thing, that desire racing down my spine, a need I did not know. I wanted your touch, your hand caressing and pushing into me. I wanted the exquisite feel of sliding my hand over the place of your inner thigh, the feel of your softness and where it met your sex, and the velvet warmth of inside. This being held and holding, the feel of our two women's bodies against each other, a shared friction of gentle and force that I am in love with and honor in the midst of the hurt and the anger of love ending. Let this desire we once felt be the sail that holds its shape in my mind. Love, Sheilah.
Dear anyone who will listen, a love letter to queer love, to kissing in public, to holding hands, to crossing the road together. My heart is bursting, full of love, only just recently healed, but ready for more. A love letter to Phyllis Christopher's images, to lesbian cinema, to queer storylines in films that don't end in death or tragedy. A love letter to never coming out, just being free, feeling free. A love letter to my queer ancestors, To the diary in the Barbican show that made me weep, which started with, "She was the dyke of my dreams." A love letter to the dyke of my dreams. A love letter to clits. To learning to love in a different way. To patient, kind, attentive lovers. A love letter to being a moody cancer crybaby. To the long lesbian kiss in Killing Eve. To the queer couple on the tube opposite us, also in love, kissing. A love letter to free love, abundant love, more love than you think possible. Love, Gabby. Dear reader of my diary, entry on Sunday, 30th of March, 2022. I'm in an ill haze, but thinking of queer growth, of weeds as defying order, Derek Jarman's garden, uncontrolled, no defense, from sea, wind, people, shame, nuclear power. Surrender completely to the elements, to nature, to man-made power. Take me with you, take me as I am, untouchable but also completely available and present and available and laid bare and visible to witness. The good, bad, evil, joy, pain, complexity of being queer in this world. Take my diary for the archive and listen to this complexity, this silent underground fight that we are constantly fighting. Below and above ground, between the real and the unreal, in the metaverse, in the universe, between the seen and the unseen, the seen and unseen, the hidden and laid bare. This constant maneuver, the constant checking in with our surroundings. How me is it safe to be? Where can I celebrate my growth? With whom? How far? How honest can I be? Affirmation. We need an excess of it. We need to constantly affirm those around us. We need to go overboard because we have been unobserved, undocumented, unseen. Not just punished for saying lesbian at school, but there was no space for education or joy with Section 28. Donate this diary to the archive in my will, like an organ donation, my soul, laid bare. No shame, only pride. Love from Gabby's deepest, most private thoughts.
London, December 2022. Dear Exta, Exta, you probably don't know that's your name, but yes, it is. It became so after one of your many, many girlfriends. Oh, you might not believe me right now, but it's true. You'll have many girlfriends, dates, partners, depending on who we're talking about, but I think it was Jillian who gave you that name. You were talking about your mother with whom you've always had a difficult relationship, particularly for the 15 years after coming out to her on the street in Oxford, England. Wow, that's a story. But yeah, you were telling Jillian how your mother, during her Christian years, forbade you to ever shorten the word Christmas to Xmas. And I think around this time, Christina Aguilera was also going by Xtina. So naturally, Jillian was like, Exta, that's you, and began writing letters and emails to ecstasy as in ecstasy. Speaking of letters, Exta, I've been asked to write to you, the younger me, to give you some advice, to let you know that you made the right decision. Just kidding. You didn't have a choice. But let me tell you, if it were from here, from the age of nearly 50, I have to say I wouldn't choose anything else. I might say, Exta, quit that legal secretary gig before you even start it. Find a way to start your photography career sooner. But other than that, everything you've done to become the queer cougar you are today, you've done perfectly. Exta, I'm writing you from here, the 49-year-old you, the you who is a fairly well-known queer photographer in London. Imagine, the you back then, you would never imagine yourself to be living in London, let alone living in London, getting paid to photograph people. I'm here to tell you it's true. You're not rich, but you have what you need. In fact, you live a rather precarious life without much security, and it's not easy, but you're not and never were interested in easy. And you're living a beautiful life and wouldn't change a thing. You do what you love, and you are surrounded by love. Exta, over the years, you will build an enormous international network of beautiful queers who become your queer family, your chosen family. Everywhere you go, every place you call home, you'll add to your family. You'll do this again and again, and your queer family will span continents. Your chosen family will love and support you unconditionally. Exta, you won't believe me about a lot of what's to come, because in your younger years, you really didn't like yourself. You really didn't like how you looked. This mostly stemming from the trauma of losing all of your hair at the age of 7, and combined with your budding queer feelings as a teenager, it wasn't easy to like yourself, let alone love yourself. The resulting insecurities, self-consciousness, shyness, discomfort didn't allow you to make many friends. You were lonely and longed for another way. All you wanted as a kid was to be like the other kids. No way, you were never anything like anyone, and you will see that is gold, my friend. All that pain you suffered, all that longing to be the same, I wish I could tell you not to, but the thing is, it is part of you, and all the pieces make you the beauty you are today. But all of these things are intertwined, and because each of them, you will rise above, even if one of your partners, or one of your parents, accuses you of being queer just because you're bald. Shrug it off. You will, and so what if you are? I still think I'm so lucky to be queer and would never want to be anything else. And actually, your family, your chosen family, we can all relate with each other and finding each other the prize. Exta, like many queers, you'll learn to adapt quickly, fearlessly. The road to becoming queer, becoming the you that you learn to love and find beautiful, was lined with a beautiful and huge queer community. Your courageousness, curiosity, adaptability, and quest for a life full of love, both romantic and platonic, will guide you. Your curiosity, often inspired by boredom or discomfort or from being too comfortable, will push you to go many places. You will always go with it. At first, you will follow, taking a nerdy cart boy's advice to check out the internet in 1992, where you subsequently came out and met your first girlfriend, all at once while learning the basics of lesbian culture. Watching Desert Hearts, The Hunger, reading Ruby Fruit Jungle, listening to the Indigo Girls, and grasping onto anything lesbian you can get your hands on, all under the cover of night in the basement of your parents' house in the suburbs of Western New York. The newness of this place, of the internet, gave you the courage to try new things, setting a precedent for you, always yearning for something new, for embracing change, finding solace in what's different. This internet romance would then actually move you out of the place you knew you had to leave to get to a place you didn't know you wanted to be. First, Madison, Wisconsin, where you learn about so many things queer, more about feminism, women's studies, lesbian activism. You'll even become a lesbian Avengers and be part of a direct action activist group. Learn about and experience sex positivity, communal living, loving, sex parties, and non-monogamy. You'll find love again in Wisconsin, then heartbreak when she breaks up with you. But then you'll follow her to China to teach English for a year, then follow her again to Chicago, where you will live for almost a decade, leaving there to follow one more girlfriend, this time to London, where you'll finally stop following your partners around. Exta, you're gonna love so hard and deep and strong, and you're gonna hurt just as bad, if not worse, again and again. You'll know this, yet you'll continue to love harder, deeper, again and again. I think that's all I have to say. Just be you. You're doing great. Love, Exta, at 49 years old.
Dear summer, I sit on the balcony, the heat thick and reflecting off the white tiles beneath my feet. There's something exquisite about this heat, even though it leaves you gasping for any pocket of cool air. The soft breeze moves between my thighs, and I can feel each follicle gently caressing my skin. They move like the branches on the gum trees lined up on the street before me. Sitting up, I take a long, deep breath into my nose. The sound of air gushing through my windpipe. Breathing in as if collecting the last morsel of oxygen on Earth until I feel it enter every part of my body. My fingertips tingling with excitement when the air makes contact and spews out sweat in abundance. Grateful for the source providing me life on this plane of existence, I breathe out, melting into the chair, letting all the tension go, feeling the earth pull me in. With my feet up and over the edge of my seat, I watch my sandals dangle off my feet. I sit there looking as the straps sit at the tip of my toes, and I wiggle them off, letting them drop to the ground. This is where I notice, on the steps beyond the balcony, a black and turquoise-colored lizard with mustard stripes looking up at me. Its skin glistens, basking under the presence of the sun. I allow this visitor to witness the encounter I'm having with myself. Sweat now drips from beneath the fold under my breasts, and the cool, salty droplets roll down past my abdomen and into my navel. I undo one of the buttons on my silk blouse and feel the sun smother my chest and course through my body. I undo the single strap tied along my waist and hold the black silk skirt I have on, slowly letting it unravel and fall to the ground. My whole lower body is exposed and meets with the sun. The rays penetrates the tops of my calves, thighs, and the crease between my soft round belly and the thick, long pubic hairs that stretch all the way to my inner thighs. Moving my knees apart, I expose the soft, brown skin between my thighs. My vulva, bloated and pulsating from this rendezvous with the sun. I feel this energetic source of excitement surging through every atom of my being. I part my lips, inserting 2 of my fingers deep into my mouth, tasting the salt from my fingers, salivating. I pull my fingers out with a trail of drool falling to my chin. I graciously place my hand on my outer labia, gently opening my slick inner labia. All the fluids from my body dance together as I slid my fingers along the stretch of my inner lips leading up to the hood above my clitoris. I feel this yearning grow from within myself as it began to extend beyond the sacral core up to meet my chest. I let it circulate, swift like the breeze moving past my cheeks and along my neck. My face flushes as I lift the skin on the top left corner of my clitoris, exposing the pink pulsating pleasure button I keep hidden between my legs. The sun gently kisses the tip as I rub my dripping hands along, around, and above it. This menage a trois between my hands and the sun building as I grab hold of my nipples, tugging, squeezing, twisting, and pulling. My moan sending the lizard that kept me company scurrying away as I reach my closing call to this ceremony of the sun. I miss you. Love, Fa-Zah.
Dear M, I'm finally letting you go. This is different than before, like the time I had to slice us apart, even though it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I can't tell you how many nights I cried myself to sleep. I've never wanted you to know how much it hurt, or how I'd imagine our bodies sleeping next to each other, the mornings we had reading in bed, and the sweet potatoes we ate every week. I'm ready to let you go now. Thank you for teaching me how to make the tomato sauce. Love, C.